Hello everyone! The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip.
It's the requel that broke the internet, Trace.
Oh my god. I mean, y'all, we will go into this more in a bit, and if you're not on Twitter, consider yourself lucky.
Oh god,
Actually,
yeah.
if you're not on social media, consider yourself lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a silly, gory, brutal little movie that has really lit a fire under some people's asses, and I'm not gonna lie, Joe. I'm confused. I'm perplexed by the passion with which people are either defending or coming down on this film.
Yeah, it's a little bit exhausting. Folks, we are going to probably have a discussion about how this ties back to some of the conversation that we saw back when Halloween Kills came out, because to me, it feels very on par with that. And yeah, like you, I'm a little bit mystified because it feels like people are making so much of a bigger deal out of a film that frankly isn't worth all the fuss. It's
honestly, when I was watching, when it ended, I was thinking about that moment in Scream 4 when Britt Robertson is like whatever, blah, 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 or did whoever wrote it just underthink it? And I was like, that's pretty much this movie in a nutshell, and it's pretty par for the course with the track record of this franchise. I agree with your comparison to Halloween Kills because much like that franchise, Texas Chainsaw has gone through many different times. I mean, this is the third direct sequel to the original film that is in this franchise.
Oh yeah, we've got full-on articles that have to explain the timeline and the chronology, and if you're going to watch this movie, this is what follows it, and if you're watching this other continuity, don't bother watching these other movies. So, needless to say, Texas Chainsaw Massacre has definitely become a convoluted mess of a franchise.
But it's also become one, though, where, again, much like Halloween, where it's like, well, the fan base is fractured in a way because of how the different areas these films have gone, to where every fan seems to really want and or expect a different thing from a new entry. And
yeah,
honestly, people, again, I'm not going to come down to people that don't like this movie. I'm very much like it's fun. It's fine. It's very inconsequential, and I probably won't really remember much of it outside of some of these kills in a week.
Well, yes, and maybe let's begin with that, because I do think that people's relationship to this franchise is driving part of this reception and the vitriol and, frankly, the gatekeeping and the shitty, nasty behavior. So I think it's important to contextualize what is your, and by your, I mean you and I as well as everybody else, what is your relationship to this franchise? Because I think it does change the way you expect things to happen or not happen.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, have you seen every single entry in this franchise?
Okay, so I have not. I realized that I have not seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and then I thought I had seen the Alexandra Daddario one, and it turns out that I have not, because it's the Jordana Brewster is the prequel to the 2003 remake, right?
Yeah, the Daddario one is the Do Your Thing Cuz.
Oh, yeah, because I kept seeing that meme when people said, oh, you think this new one is bad? Clearly you haven't seen this one. And I was like, that line is hilarious, but also, have I not seen that movie? So no, I don't think I've seen the threes, basically.
That's actually funny. And I will say that the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, that actually is my least favorite entry in this franchise. I have seen all of them. The first one I saw was the remake, and then I promptly sought out the original, and then I watched 2. And then, honestly, from there, I didn't see 3 or 4 when I was growing up, or I'm sorry, in high school, college, whatever, and so I watched the prequel, the beginning, when it came to theaters. I went to go see Texas Chainsaw 3D in theaters, and it was probably after that, but before Leatherface, that I sought out 3 and The Next Generation, and then I finally saw Leatherface. And so nevertheless, y'all could go see my rankings on my Letterboxd or on my social media. I've already posted them a bunch, but
plug.
I think the original and the remake are genuinely fantastic movies. Both of them are 5-star films for me. I love them. Then it goes to The Next Generation, which might be controversial for some people, because again, go back and listen to our episode on the main feed, right, Joe, where that is not a good movie by normal standards, but I find it so funny and entertaining that I'm like, I would absolutely watch this over any of the others. I'm sorry, minus the original and the remake.
Yeah, so I actually watched the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time in anticipation of this new one, as well as Leatherface, which is the one that was directed by the guys who made Inside and went direct to Netflix as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I think one of the things that I have realized is that this is not my franchise. I like several of these films. We have discussed in the past our history with rural horror or hillbilly horror. You know, I think it was either last summer or 2 summers ago, we did an entire month of Patreon programming talking about these films, unpacking them, getting a better understanding of them. I like a lot of them, but I don't love most any of them, and this is not the franchise I'm going to turn on when I'm looking for, what horror film do I want to watch? So I go into each new one saying, well, I kind of hope that they do something a little bit different or a little bit interesting, or that we get some good kills. And I can say that we got the latter option. We definitely got some good kills out of this one.
It is the thing for me where it's like, outside of the original and the remake, I tend to find with any of these sequels, prequels, reboots, whatever the fuck we're doing here, I tend to like the ones that are more outlandish and ridiculous. So like that's why it's Next Generation for me, and then this Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and then frankly this one.
Atlas Avenue. A long stretch of road that encompasses everything the city of Kennett Heights has to offer. Neon lights, traffic, crime, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and the craziest of characters. My office was above it all. My name is James Locke, and I'm a PI.
Hello, Mr. J. How the hell you doing today?
Good, Edith. Nearly every year I have a new case. New people to meet, new clues to discover, and new problems to solve. But I do it the old-fashioned way. No technology. Nothing post-1950. Hell, I don't even listen to podcasts, but you should. Atlas Avenue Beat is a spoof of the film noir genre with goofy characters, tons of wordplay, and non-stop raunchy humor. There's also 3 whole seasons out right now with more on the way. Just search for Atlas Avenue Beat wherever you listen to podcasts or visit us online at bloody.fm.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.